Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. Now, the Overwatch universe is made up of dozens of culturally and thematically unique and diverse heroes that all bring together the story and gameplay of the world in a very fitting and cohesive way. Every hero is carefully designed to both fit into the lore of Overwatch while also offering players a ton of different options to choose from in terms of gameplay. But there's a wealth of passion by the community to present their own concepts for heroes that could also fit into the world and be interesting to play in-game. So with that said, we're bringing you another video showcasing some of the best and most well-designed heroes that Overwatch's passionate and creative fans have funneled their enthusiasm, time, and creativity into in this video. Now, our first hero is Snoke, the Grenadier by Yizzard. Catherine Janssens, aka Snoke, utilizes a vast array of grenades in the battlefield. Her primary fire is to throw grenades, and although that sounds a lot like Junkrat's, he launches them and she would throw them, which might mean less range, but potentially more versatility in angles of attack and places you can generally throw them, which could be really cool. If the grenades couldn't necessarily be spammed as heavily as Junkrat's, then maybe they're going to be a bit more powerful, so you can toss them into a room you know the enemies are, and it would actually do a lot of damage unless they were to get out or throw up a shield. Now, her alternate fire, Grenade Plant, gives her the potential to stick grenades to walls. When one of these grenades detects an enemy in its vicinity, it explodes to deal area damage. Due to this, it's easy to see how Snoke could be a great addition into the defense category. The ability to place down these motion-activated grenades at key locations would allow Snoke to lock down and control areas quite effectively, and while it feels a little bit like Junkrat's Mine, it would actually be quite different in terms of gameplay and would be a lot more like Widow's Venom Trap. Now, Snoke also has the ability to throw a light grenade, which basically works similar to a flashbang or a stun grenade in other similar FPSs. Once detonated, light grenade emits an explosion that affects all enemies within 5 meters with a blind for 1 second. And this is a really interesting mechanic that we see in so many different FPSs that hasn't come over to Overwatch yet, but could be really cool to see this kind of versatility on the battlefield. Now, it's easy to imagine the power of a quick blind like this in countering enemy pushes and allowing Snoke to fill a very zone control oriented role for defensive teams. If this ability was able to shut down ultimates like Deadeye or Tactical Visor as well, since they couldn't see, Snoke would offer players a counterpick option for those powerful hit scan heroes and still give them counterplay in terms of being able to win a trade from longer ranges. And that could be such a cool way to shut down those ultimates for a brief time instead of just relying on a diva to run up to them and press right click. Now, Snoke's shift tosses a shrapnel grenade, which deals high damage in a single direction in front of the explosion. Shrapnel grenade further adds to her zoning abilities while also giving counterplay through effective movement. It's easy to imagine this being utilized to break barriers like Winston's bubble or Reinhardt's shield, but it could also be used to control key choke points in the map as well. Her ultimate, Mr. Nibbles, throws out a linear chain chomp-like monster that damages everything in its path. If it kills an enemy or reaches its maximum length, Nibbles will explode to release a ton of smaller explosives that deal large area of effect damage. Thematically, Snoke seems to be right at home with the Outback Junkers, Roadhog, and Junkrat. With a love for explosions and a Wasteland-inspired artistic theme, she could make a very welcome and needed addition to Overwatch's roster of more evil-oriented heroes in-game, and it will be interesting to see more defensive heroes that could potentially see playtime with unique mechanics that could counter enemy pushes. Now, if healing is more your style, our next hero, Daryl the Eraser by Yizzard, certainly fits the bill. Daryl feels like a cross between Ana and Zenyatta in that while being a support, he brings some firepower to the back lines while also giving players the mental stimulus of outplaying enemies at key points during the match. His primary fire is a shot from his pistol, which artistically looks like a cross between McCree's revolver and Mercy's pistol, giving the impression that it might deal higher damage with a slower fire rate and magazine size. But it's his alternate fire, Healing Shot, which brings to life some of that feeling of Ana. When used to shoot allies, Daryl will provide healing to his team. Now, Daryl's first ability, Healer Drones, gives him the option to place healing stations around the map. When used, he places up to 3 stationary drones around the map that provide healing to nearby allies. This mechanic is interesting because it provides a similar effect as Soldier 76's Biotic Field, but also has that feeling of strategy like Symmetra's turrets provide. We can assume the drones can be destroyed by enemies, so a good Daryl player would have to put thought into where to place his drones to keep them safe from enemy fire, while also allowing his team to use them to recover in effective positions when they're pushing forward. So far, Daryl sounds like a pretty powerful hero, but as we see here, he has counterplay due to his lack of mobility. Now his second ability, Materialize, applies a mark onto any ally. Once triggered, Daryl will teleport that ally to his location. Materialize would be extremely effective in terms of providing support to dive-oriented characters like Tracer, Genji, or Doomfist, who may overextend, but with no mobility option, he's also susceptible to attacks from those same dive heroes. Materialize brings that clutch play feeling to a hero and really gives him the opportunity to have a high skill ceiling. And if he were to materialize an ally, say to one of his healing drones, he could provide them some quick burst healing so that they could go right back into the fight. Now, Deja Vu is the name of Daryl's ultimate, and this one is crazy powerful. Daryl uses his hand to generate a vacuum, absorbing the power of an enemy's ultimate. Once triggered again, Daryl can use that ultimate himself. Now this one is conceptually hard to imagine when you consider things like D.Va's ult, but it's extremely powerful nonetheless. I can only imagine that an ability with this power would have to have a really long time to charge up, or have some other option for counterplay, but it plays into his theme quite well, and it'd be really interesting to see some more abilities that can counter ultimates, so you can't just use them for free quite so often. His costume's got kind of a Prince of Persia feel with a futuristic desert theme. Visually, it's almost like he could fit in with the Vishkar alongside Symmetra or potentially somewhere else in the Middle East. And with his ability to control time, the sand concept also fits in perfectly. He's also got a mechanical arm on him, implying that he's been through his fair share of combat and that the technology implanted in him might be his source of the ability to control time and space, not unlike Tracer's Chronal Accelerator, which allows her to control her own time instead of just bouncing around in it wildly. Now speaking of Tracer, let's take a look at this fantastic candidate for Britain's second hero, Mr. Smith, who comes to us from the mind of artist Angel. Mr. Smith is a secret agent who specializes in stealth and quick kills and brings that savvy British flair to the offensive roster. His weapon is a powerful pistol which deals high damage with a slow rate of fire, not unlike McCree. It's a straightforward enough weapon with no alt fire, but it pairs well with his theme of deception when you look at his first ability, Doubles. Mr. Smith's Doubles ability creates two clones of himself in the world which also fire shots but deal no damage. These illusions allow Mr. Smith to buy time in-game as he infiltrates enemy lines and confuses the enemy team as they attempt to find the real hero instead of the illusions. One can only hope that these illusions fade after taking damage, or backlines would have a total nightmare trying to find the real enemy during all the chaos of a team fight. His second ability, Disguise, turns Mr. Smith into an inanimate object and allows him to restore health over time, similar to Mei's Ice Block. Now this ability would be great as an emergency heal, but it also provides players with solid map knowledge the ability to counterplay any stealthy flanks since they would notice if something's up. If an enemy Mr. Smith is disguised as a tree, for example, in the middle of the street, it'd be easy for players to gain an advantage against him if they're keeping a key eye on the map. Now Mr. Smith also brings to play his ultimate Diversion, which allows him to disguise himself as any hero from the enemy team. During this, he also has access to their ultimate, which, like Daryl from before, means he has the power to completely turn a team fight just by cloning an ultimate from the enemy team. This ability, when used on someone like Zarya, Reinhardt, or 76, would allow Mr. Smith to set up huge plays from the comfort of his stealth and disguise-oriented gameplay. Now, I'm not going to say how balanced that is, and I think the ability to deny an enemy ult or to use it yourself might be a little bit too strong, but remember that this is his ultimate, which means that he doesn't really get to do anything else other than use an enemy ult as well. I'd also like to wager that Angel is a fan of Team Fortress 2 and Prop Hunt, since a few of those abilities seem to have made it into Mr. Smith's kit, but it still could be really fun to play someone a little bit ridiculous, but that could also potentially fit into a roster, and to play someone stealthy besides Sombra. Now next up is an awesome fan design by Sayel and takes Winston's Tesla cannon technology to a whole new level. Ragin Lorraine is a fast offensive character with multiple lightning-based abilities due to the generator he wears on his waist. His primary fire is a ranged electric projectile emitted directly from his hands. Now when he gets into melee range, he has the option to strike enemies with his Eskrima sticks. These sticks are also electrically charged, so any melee attack with them has a small chance to stun enemies briefly when struck. For a guaranteed stun though, Ragin's Kugelblitz allows him to lock down enemies from range. He fires a shot which stuns the enemy target for 1 second. If that target has nearby allies, Kugelblitz will jump back and forth up to 7 times, or until the targets move away from each other. This ability is shockingly useful for breaking up stacks of enemies and creating space, and it would also be a great tool for contesting objectives or forcing enemies off of them. Now I feel like in reality those would have diminishing returns, because stunning 2 people for 4 seconds each would be a little ridiculous, but still it's a really interesting idea to think about. Now Ragin also has access to a dash called Electrical Surge and has some fun elements to it as well. When used, Surge jolts Ragin forward a short distance or up to an obstacle. This means Ragin could instantly climb a wall. Once there, he can use the ability again to jump from wall to wall up to 3 times. Now this could make Ragin one of the most mobile heroes in the game and makes his ultimate Tesla Storm even more intimidating. Tesla Storm creates an intense lightning storm around Ragin that lasts for 10 seconds. This storm moves with him and deals a stream of area of effect damage. Now Ragin has a really fun kit and some interesting combo play built into it as well. For example, he could stun a target in a group of enemies at range, jolt in with his Tesla Storm, and deal lots of area pressure between the ultimate and the chain bounces of Kugelblitz. He's a hero that could easily fit into both the offense or defensive role. While we don't know much about him, we can assume Ragin is an agent of Talon because of this awesome Talon skin. His mobility and control of electricity can be a real asset for the organization, unfortunately for the Overwatch team. Now all of today's heroes offer a new playstyle for Overwatch and capture the world and spirit of the game perfectly, but I want to know what your favorites are. And if you know of any passionate Overwatch fans whose artistic visions could be featured in a future video, definitely leave a comment down below. And of course, if you haven't already, I would love it if you guys could subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of our future content. And anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.